YouTube, how the heck you doing? This is Corey here with Watcher of Realms. This is going to be a breakdown for the 64.5k run that KVal went ahead and did. He went ahead and posted it on his YouTube channel, so if you haven't gone ahead and already checked it out, just go ahead and check it out. It's a really good run. But what I'm going to go ahead and do is just kind of break it down. I spoke to him as he was going ahead and making this, as he was going through the process of doing like 1,000 Abyss 1 runs just over and over and over. So got to see the process. I'm going to break it down to the best of my ability, based off my messages with him and also just seeing what he did to lead up to this point. So let's just go ahead and get straight to it. So one of the main things is, right, yes, this is a little bit of a whale account. So I'm going to pause this right here. He is running a Aelin, Jiao Qian, Lucius, Wukong, Kigiri, Fersi, Solkadins, Lord Phineas, Toreador, and Ingrid team. Right, so one of the main things is he is using an off-action Toreador. The main reason as to why he is doing this is because he wants the defense reduction that is going to be caused by Toreador's skills. Secondly, he is using Lord Phineas's exclusive artifact. Reasoning being is because his artifact will go ahead and give some damage reduction as well. And that's the only damage reduction, realistically speaking, in this particular team. Lucius does give a little bit of assistance with this in particular, but this is kind of why the team is built as it is. And then also Lucius is going to give that physical damage alongside Wukong and Kigiri, while Ingrid, Phineas are going to be the main source, and Solkadins are going to be the main sources of magical damage. So let's just kind of continue here. Now his placements, he's dropping Kigiri first, and then he's going ahead and dropping Aelin. Reason being is because Aelin is going to go ahead and give Invigoration over to the Kigiri, and then he's dropping Wukong second. The reason for this is because he's going to essentially have insta ults in a second here, so he can instantly just start damaging out the boss. Then he drops Jiao Qian. Jiao Qian hasn't been switched yet because he just placed her, but Jiao Qian is now going to go ahead and give inspiration over to, not inspiration, invigoration over to the Wukong. Lucius is the next placement, and then he's going to go ahead and drop Fersi right here. Now the reason why is because, once again, first he's going to go ahead and give the invigoration over to Lucius. At this point, all three physical damage dealers are the ones that are getting the buff, right? The next step is he's going to go ahead and drop the Solkadins, standard, right? He's probably going to go ahead and swap over the Jiao Qian in a second here. Then he drops Ingrid, and then Phineas, and then Toreador. Now the reason why you're dropping Toreador over here is because whenever the Meteoric Deluge, I believe is the name of the skill, comes down, Phineas is going to be a little bit safe, and Kigiri's in a position to where he can go ahead and ult with the Kigiri and effectively dodge all the damage, right? So at this point, bam, he goes ahead and activates Jiao Qian, and he actually switches Ingrid over to single target mode. And here we go, he ults with Solkadins as well. And then with this defense reduction, he's going to ult with Kigiri and then Wukong in a second here. And there we go. He's going to ult with Wukong now. And now we're pretty much off to the races. Notice the damage he's already gone ahead and done a significant amount. This mainly because these are really high awakenings on the Kigiri and the Wukong. And here we go. We're looking really good. Let's kind of slow this down here. Now all the units are stunned up. So the next thing is... there we go. He goes ahead and uses the Aelin ult. The reason why is because he just wants all these units to be topped up. Deal with the damage here. And there we go. He goes ahead and ults with Toreador. Toreador obviously gets that additional attack speed, so he's going to make sure that that defense down is basically permanently up at this point. There we go. Now the shield has procced. So at this point, a couple of things are going to happen. He is going to have the Solkadins ult ready. He's also going to have Phineas ready. He's going to have Kigiri ready. And he's also going to have Wukong ready here. So the second that he's good to go, he goes ahead and pops Fersi, which gives inspiration. Then he activates the Wukong and the Kigiri, essentially taking down the shield right about now. There we go. And now he's just chunking out the boss. The next step is, now that the boss is going to go ahead and swap over, he's going to activate the Phineas and Sulkadins probably to go ahead and push some damage. Sulkadins, there we go. He activates the Wukong next, and then Aelin. Once again, the main goal is keeping all these units pretty high HP. Also, that really helps with Ingrid in particular, because Tear of Twilight is going to do less damage if the unit is, I believe, sub 80% HP. And one of the most important things, right, he is really banking on not using the ult from, what's it called, Lucius. Lucius needs to basically be in demon stance at all times. Here we go. Now he's going ahead and see the Meteoric Deluge is being used. So what he's doing is he's proccing Kigiri ult. And let's kind of slow this down a second here. Where's my playback speed? Let's make this 0.25. Alright, so Meteoric Deluge is hitting. He goes ahead and uses Kigiri ult to basically dodge most of the damage, at least from the first impact. And then he uses Pharisee to basically re-heal everybody here. And that's how he tanks it. At this point, he's really good to just go ahead and begin as normal, where he's going to have Sulkadins, he's also going to have Phineas, and then here we go. He activates Phineas. Phineas goes ahead and gets the buffs, and then he's going to go ahead and activate Sulkadins in a second here probably. Yep, and he does exactly that. So he procs the Sulkadins, giving all that defense reduction. And so once the shield is procced, right, Ingrid is going to do a significant amount of damage. And then he should still have enough duration on Phineas and Sulkadins to just continue doing some magical damage while the boss is vulnerable in this moment. There we go. Super simple. And see, right, Lucius just went ahead and procced his demon stance again. KVal is not going ahead and forcing Lucius ult. It's literally going into demon stance and constantly cycling. And it's really important that he does this, because Lucius's entire job is basically to carry the physical damage side alongside the Wukong and the Kigiri. So that is the second shield done. He's at about 24k. And right when the boss procs into the new stage, he insta-ults with Kigiri and Wukong. Realistically, the only reason why he's doing this is to just push as much damage as possible, because getting a 64k run is really just trying to push as much damage as possible while having enough rage regen to go ahead and make sure that you're set up well enough to deal with the shields as they come up. But your main goal is to go ahead and push damage when you're going for a 60k plus run. So he goes ahead and ults with the Kigiri and Wukong. He procs Aelin, and one of the most important things is he needs a little bit of sustain. That's why he's proccing Aelin, because if the units die here, the run is over, right? So Aelin's super important in this regard. There we go. He survives very well. The boss is about to scream, and they all tank it. And the reason why they tank it is because Aelin's giving that significant amount of sustain to like honestly a huge chunk of the units here. Also, mind you, Phineas using his exclusive artifact, giving that attack down, is super valuable. And that's also one of the main factors as to why these units are surviving. This run really works because of all the debuffs that are being applied through exclusives and then through Sulkadin's ult as well. And then also just through Torador. And then, here we go. He goes ahead, he procs Sulkadins, giving that defense reduction here. There we go. And this is really just pushing damage, right? And then the second he's able to, he goes ahead and ults with Wukong, and he's going to go ahead and ult with Kigiri if the timing's right. He has a little bit of time remaining here, but this is perfect because he's going to push the damage. There we go. Ults with Kigiri. It triggers. And now the dragon is in its shield state. What happens is Lucius right here is going to be the main damage dealer, at least in this current interval. There we go. And Lucius pretty much solos the shield by himself. right? Obviously, Wukong and Kigiri are doing damage, but Lucius is the one that's going ahead and in Demon Stance, dealing with the majority of the shield. And now this is where the run gets very interesting, because it becomes kind of like a race to push damage. So here we go, right? He goes ahead, switches Ingrid. Now here's the reason why he swaps Ingrid here. The reason for that is because if you swap Ingrid in this very moment, you are kind of, and this is with A3 plus, but you're separating the timing as to when she is going to go ahead and do her every second hit is the main skill. It basically forces her to be in a position to where on the magic damage shield, she is going to be chunking out as much damage as humanly possible. It's kind of like similar to when you're in an arena. If you go ahead and you swap Ingrid, at least in the previous arena, if you go ahead and swap Ingrid at the very beginning, she will almost always have her AoE hit right when the new units spawn up. It's all about the timing, and that's why he's going to go ahead and swap the Ingrid in this particular moment. It's super important because the timing changes because it resets her. So, just one thing to note. Now he's pushing damage, right? So Wukong is ulting. Sulcanus is about to go ahead and ult here. And he's timing it. There we go. He goes ahead. Sulcanus is ulted, and he swaps the Ingrid back. The reason why he swaps the Ingrid back is just as I mentioned, it's all about the timing to set her up to be doing her massive chunks of damage during the shield phase. So all that's good now. There we go. So at this point, he's just pushing damage. He's going to go ahead and use the Alien ult because he needs a sustain here, right? This is all about, at this point, damage and sustain. All this is normal. Nothing too crazy yet. And he has the timings for a Kigiri ult, and he's setting up for the Wukong ult. But he's delaying it. Now he has basically all the most important ultimates up, right? His Kigiri, Wukong, Phineas, and he's going to eventually get the Soul Kittens here in a second, but obviously the important thing is Kigiri has ult. And then what's going to happen is whenever the next Meteoric Deluge happens, he's going to go ahead and proc the Kigiri and the Furcy to give the sustain, and then Torador should go ahead and tank it relatively easily, and then he's set once again to just kind of continue here. So he goes ahead, procs the Wukong, because once again, Wukong doesn't matter. If you use Wukong ult, that's fine, especially whenever Wukong is placed here, because he's not under the threat of damage from Meteoric Deluge. The only units that are really in danger is the Kigiri. So using Wukong is just to push damage. Even though it's minuscule compared to what it would be in the physical damage stage, you're still pushing damage. There we go. He procs Kigiri to eat the first meteor, and then he procs Furcy to go ahead and re-sustain up. There we go. He tanks it, survives. The next step is all magic damage, and Ingrid is the most important unit in this moment, right? She has now been cycled to where she's going to go ahead and use her damage during the shield phase. That's the whole reason why he set it up like this. And now here we go. Procs Phineas, procs Sulcanus, watch the shield. There we go. Massive damage. Ingrid has now clutched up. And there we go. He goes ahead and clears out the shield. Now at this point, he did say that he kind of starts to just use his ultimates just kind of everywhere. The whole purpose is because he knows he has one more physical damage shield that he needs to really worry about, and if he can pass it, he's going to get to the 60k. All he needs to do in this moment is just push as much damage as possible, because after he gets to the final physical damage shield and pushes into the magic damage stage, it's going to be infinitely harder, right? So from here on out, you're going to see him use as many ultimates as possible and just cycle rapidly. And there's a couple of things, right? He could have, and he mentions this at 130, swap over the Ingrid to the single target mode or the AoE mode and then swap her back. But there was just so much going on, can't blame him, that he didn't have the chance to do it. Let's kind of continue here. Lucius is in Demon Stance. Bam. He goes and procs Wukong Kigiri. He's pushing damage now. This is the main goal. Push as much damage as possible. So Aelin is ulted. He's almost at 60k. He's super close, right? And the units are barely surviving, even with the damage mitigation due to Phineas' exclusive. And see, now he's trying to time the Kigiri and the Wukong because at this point, he's pretty close to the next shield proccing here. There we go. Toradora is now ulted. Next up, he's going to ult with Phineas and Sulkadins and then push the Wukong here. There we go. Shields are up. Damage is getting put down. This is all on Lucius at this point. And Lucius clears it. Now, this is going to be a 60k run. Right now. And the reason for that is because Lucius is a monster. Lucius basically cleared the rest of the shield there. And now he's just going to go ahead and ulting, right? He already hit the 60k, but at this point, it's to go ahead and make the autos consistent. He swaps over the Jiao Chan, and let's kind of slow this down. So the reason why he swaps over the Jiao Chan is because he needs more sustainability, right? He no longer needs damage. He's already hit the 60k mark. He needs sustain. So Jiao Chan swapping over, once again, she kind of gets some residual passive because of her skills. So where she will give a little bit of inspiration still whenever she's swapped over. I believe it's for like 20 seconds. But the main thing is she's now giving heals. And even right now, he has Aelin ulted. So he's getting some sustain, but Jiao Chan's also giving some sustain as well. And I'm not sure if he has Lu Bu. I can always ask him later. But Lu Bu would also go ahead and give Jiao Chan some AoE damage reduction. So knowing him, he probably has Lu Bu. But that's why he's doing this in the way that he is, right? Swaps back over. Gives some sustain, right? Because at 20 seconds. And here, he's just pushing as much damage as possible, right? So let's kind of just let this run through here. There we go. It's interesting how he ults with Lucius, like right at the end. But then again, he's literally just trying to push damage. Phineas ults, yeah. He's kind of just going crazy, but he's literally ulting as frequently as he can just to run this number up. And there you go. There you go. The method behind the madness. I think he shows the damage charts. Here we go. There we go. So Kigiri, Lucius, Wukong, Sulkadins, Ingrid. But obviously Kigiri is a monster for this. Lucius is super important. Lucius swapping over to Demon Stance is the most important factor for this run being successful. It's so valuable. It's hard to ignore it. It's just really important. And then also Ingrid only works if she's 83 plus. Obviously you can use a normal like A1, A0 Ingrid, but the team isn't going to perform as well, right? And then I believe he goes and he showcases his gear. Let me find it here. So we kind of talked about this and he explained it. So shout out to Mad, obviously, but the whole reason why you go ahead and use Shadow's Gaze is because it gives a significant amount of damage boosts. So it's obviously a 20% attack every 5 attacks, lasting up to 5 seconds, stacks 2 times. So essentially it's like 40% every 5 attacks. But whenever you go ahead and build your Lucius, he's going to have really high attack speed. So he's always in Demon Stance, and that's the benefit, right? It's kind of, here we go. 304 attack speed, technically 404 if you factor in the 100% base. This is the build. This is why Lucius is an absolute monster. He is A5, mind you. That's important. So is Wukong. All these units for the most part are A5. But Lucius really helps go ahead and push that physical damage stage, which otherwise would be a little bit of a challenge if you're only running the Wukong and Kigiri for this team. So Lucius, super valuable. All these units are valuable for different reasons, right? But anyways, that's it. See ya.